and relevant to all departments. We demand our country back. We want our country back. We want our country back. We want our country back. South Africa is for South Africans. And no one will come our way. That's the promise. No one, nobody, not even the president of South Africa can stop us. Not even the police will stop us. Whether you like it or not, South Africa can be South Africans. And the Mulao was South Africa. The Immigration Act will be implemented forcefully if we have to, whether they like it or not. South Africa will become an illegal immigrant-free country in our lifetime. Renata Sapila, Banalemaka. Mr. Stevens, country, whether you like it or not, you guys are going to be forced to implement the laws to ensure that South Africa and South Africans are protected, to ensure that our country and its wealth is protected. We want all illegal immigrants, especially from the African country. We're not going to shy away from the fact that South Africa. Yes. We're not saying those who are illegal coming from Asia or European countries cannot be deported. They must be deported. But most of these people that are here illegally is illegal immigrants coming from the African country, the African continent. We want the illegal immigrants to go back to their respective countries to face their own government and fix their own countries. We're fighting with employees in South Africa. We're fighting our government. We're the same in their countries. This is not a request, but an instruction. It is an instruction from South Africans. Wise are those who will listen and follow the instructions. Wise is a man who farms his own land. And those who are arrogant and stubborn will go home crying, kicking and screaming. So, as commanders, as patriots in South Africa, as different organizations. And however, it does not only end here. We're going to have a short meeting with the mall management so that we finalize and come to an agreement about the when and how part. Because South Africans, all these jobs that the foreign nationals are occupying in your mall, sir, all belong to South Africans. From the mall manager or the store manager, all those positions must be given to South Africans. Why a mall manager does not fall under the critical skills list.
Hello everyone, welcome to GNU according to CD, that is Government of National Unity. So guys, as you have seen this video, these are the things that you are going to start seeing all across the country. Because the biggest culprits here are the malls, the restaurants, supermarkets, all this stuff that we go and buy stuff at, we go and visit at the end of the month with our families to do shopping from the grant money that we get, that Nigerians think it's something wrong to do. I mean, it shows the wealth of the country when the country is able to provide for its people. These are the culprits that we should be actually doing what exactly these people are doing. These are young people. The mall was built on their land. The malls were built in their townships, in their communities. And before these malls were built, guess what they were told? Guess what they were told? You are the ones who are going to benefit. The economy of your township is going to be generated here. You will be able to come and stock if you have a tuck shop. You will be able to come and work as a young person of the community. But no, guess what they did? Instead of hiring locals, they went and hired illegal foreigners because they are going to exploit them at the expense of the members of that community where a mall was planted and they were made promises. And then we have other towns outside of our communities. The type of stuff that we've been used to and accustomed to since South Africa has become an economy, that we will travel from our townships, come into the city, or go to nearby towns to seek for job opportunities. You have Rosebank, you have Sandton, you have now Waterfall. You've got all these areas that were built, and guess what? The one thing every one of these developers said, this is going to benefit the people of South Africa. In what way? Job opportunities, business entrepreneurship, and partnership, and etc. and so on. And what happened? No job opportunities, never was business opportunities, never were entrepreneurial opportunities. Instead, they went and sought illegal foreigners to come work for them. Go to Rosebank. All those restaurants in Rosebank, all those restaurants you see in Sandton, all those restaurants you see in Waterfall, all the way into Pretoria, Centurion, you name it. No South Africans work there. No South Africans work there. And instead, I will tell you what happens in those restaurants. Most of those restaurants, because the people that work there are non South Africans, they are not protected by the Labor Relation Act. The tips that they get, it goes to the owner of the restaurant. Because you know why? They earn a salary, inverted commas. But if it was a South African who worked in that restaurant and got a tip, at the end of the day, the South African will say, may I please have my tips? And the owner of the restaurant has no say to that because it is how they were gifted by a patron of the restaurant because of the service that they've received, not because the owner of the restaurant served them with the best service. It was the waiter. I am saying this because when I was at university, and to chase away student poverty, guess what we did? We hopped onto the VITS shuttle bus on a Wednesday, on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, sometimes even on Monday, depending on how our classes were like. If you were able to go to Rosebank, because that's where the bus will go on a weekend, to Rosebank, drop us there, and then we'll go and work in those restaurants in let's say Rosebank. Anyway, it was Rosebank because that's where the Vitz shuttle used to go to. And then we will work, we'll come back with the last bus at 12 midnight. And we came back with like 2,000 Rand, sometimes 1,500 Rand. It just depended on the business of that night when we come back with tips. And that is how we chased away student poverty. That is how we also were able to contribute towards our tuition fees, able to buy textbooks, able to buy course packs, and things like that. But today, go to vets and go to students that do not get an allowance either from home or from NFSAS or from their bursaries, and the only thing they can rely on is hop on the vets shuttle bus and go to Rosebank to wash dishes. Yeah, we used to wash dishes and we didn't mind that. You know why we didn't mind that? Because it paid 300 Rand on that particular night. 300 Rand for a student is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. And now, no students at Wits University or at UJ or any other colleges around Rosebank can walk into a restaurant, especially if you're South African, especially if you're South African, because they don't want us. Restaurant owners in this country don't want South Africans, period. The first question you get asked in an interview, where you from? Dare you say you're South African? Dare you say you are not going to get that job? Sooner or later, we are going to see acts like this going to Rosebank, acts like this going to Waterfall, people going to march at Santin restaurants, demanding for jobs. Why? Because they don't want us. They don't want us. And yet, They say I'm a South African. Those restaurant owners, I'm a proudly South African. How can you say you are proudly South African when you hate your own people? When you love money more than your people? How can you claim to love and be proudly South African when you do that? And it's not just white restaurant owners or mall managers and supermarket managers. These are some of black people, South African black people, hating your own people. You would rather see them in abject poverty than anything else. It is sad, and I know it's some kind of entitlement, but again, this is our country. Who else is supposed to employ us? Who else is supposed to employ us? And they turn around, they propagate our reputation and say we are lazy. How are we lazy when we're never given an opportunity? How do you come to that conclusion that South Africans are lazy when you never gave them the opportunity? I am telling you, as a student, we used to wash dishes at restaurants. If we were lucky, we'd be a host of that restaurant or a waiter if they were short of waiters. That job for restaurants usually was for students. Stock taking usually was for students. We used to do stock taking, Pick and Pay, ShopRite, Checkers, Woolworths. That's what we did. But today, there's not even one South African student that is hired to do that. So we are going to be seeing more of these, more of these. And I don't know, honestly, guys, what did we do to deserve this? They're right. Go home and go fix your country. Just like we always do our own. We bother nobody. We bother nobody. Mall managers, supermarkets like ShopRite. The thing is with us black people, we don't know how to boycott. Why don't you boycott? Come end of the month, don't go to Pick and Pay. Don't go to ShopRite. Don't go to Woolworths. Don't go to all these supermarkets that do not hire South Africans. Don't visit that mall for just a day at the end of the month, just for a day. Let them not get business so that they have a change of mind. But we are worse at boycotting things. We don't, I know it's not our culture to boycott, but we need to learn to boycott and add pressure. That's another way of adding pressure for these people to hear us. We can't only leave it to government and politicians. No, this is your country. You are also part and parcel of this country, and you are part and parcel of governance. And if you don't like something, you do it peacefully by saying, listen, I am staying home. I would rather eat at Chicken Dust. I would rather go buy from a fellow South African's tuck shop in the township than go to these supermarkets that don't hire South Africans. Rather than going to Spur, where the waiters there are not South Africans. Go to McDonald's, where the workers there are not South Africans. We know these places, but we know we go and we buy and support them. We need to learn how to boycott. Once we learn how to boycott, that is when they will feel the pressure in their pockets. The bottom line is not going to bottom line because at the end of the month, that is what they are looking for. Chicken Licken, KFC, Nando's, all those places, they wait for you at the end of the month to line up to go buy in great numbers and they walk away with millions. But the employees are not South Africans. They are able to pay these people to go and support their families wherever they come from. And they are not even thinking of going back home. It's not in their plans. So, South Africans, what happens? What happens to us? What happens to us? So more and more of these, I suspect we are going to see. I just hope and pray that they're all going to be peaceful. Nobody is going to get too excited and get out of line. Add pressure by not going and supporting these establishments. That's our best power that we have, because power is money. Once they see that no, South Africans are retrieving from coming here, you will see there'll be a change of heart. I don't know. It's all up to us, anyways. This is sickening. It's tiring sometimes. It's just so tiring. But keep fighting the good fight, fellow South Africans. We are not going to relent until we have our country back. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. See you next time in the new video. Goodbye.